All right, Pac-12 Football Media Day presented by 76 rolls on here in Las Vegas. Justin Wilcox, the head coach of the Cal Bears, entering your 7th season in Berkeley. You are now the second longest tenured coach in the league. I remember it was just like yesterday when they were confusing you for a player here at Media Day. What is it like? I know there's been some really good things that happened early on. You had a couple tough seasons. It feels like you've got a new OC and some good new pieces. You've been through a lot. How are you feeling coming into year 7, Justin?
Well, it certainly has gone by fast. I didn't even realize it until somebody mentioned it, this morning, that it was the second longest tenure. But yeah, it's always, this time of year, the excitement's building. It's a lot's changed in 7 years, but once you approach the season, you get to the week before camp. I mean, that excitement is the same. And getting back in the building with the players and that first day back is always one of my favorite days of the year. So I'm looking forward to that.
And we got a couple of your great players here who we'll hear from in a moment, but first.
Yeah, we'll open up to questions to the media. Just raise your hand and we'll bring you a mic. We'll start over here in the third row on the left. Please state your name and affiliation.
Right here, Tyler Budge, CF Budge. Jaden Ott was a particularly exciting young player this last season. What sorts of things do you have to do in the offseason to sort of protect a player like that from some of the hawking teams in the transfer portal, a couple of which are in-state?
Yeah. So everybody uses this term, well, you got to re-recruit your own team. I don't really think of it that way. We want to do the best job in how we treat the players, how we coach them, how we support them. So you're not making some last-ditch effort to try and, quote-unquote, re-recruit them. I think Jaden, I don't want to speak for Jaden, but understands that he's going to get treated well, he's going to get coached well, we're going to support him. There are opportunities off the field for him to take advantage of NIL, and just like everybody else in college football. So, I would understand there'd be a lot of suitors for a player like Jaden, but we are really glad he's with us, and he did a great job as a freshman, and I think he's poised for even better second year in the program.
Next question is here in the front row on the left.
Christopher Helling, right, for California. Coach, you're bringing in a very big transfer portal class this year. Can you talk about what led to that decision to lean more heavily into the transfer portal and maybe the pros and cons of relying on those transfers?
Yeah, we were very active in the transfer portal, as a number of teams were. We're always evaluating each guy in the transfer portal. A, in terms of their talent, and can they help us win? B, are they going to fit in, once you kind of get to do the physical evaluation, the football player, and then get to know them in a really short amount of time and do some background on them, see if they're going to fit in with how we operate, fit in with our team, and then obviously the academic requirements that they would have at Cal. So we found a lot of guys that we felt like could help us win, who would fit in with our program, and ultimately a lot of those guys had other opportunities, but they chose to join us, and we're glad they did. And we had a number of them join us in winter, and then another, I guess 7 or 8 join us in summer. So glad to have them, and those guys will play a big role for us this season.
We go back row now on the right with Jim.
Jim McGill with BearInsider.com. Coach, you have 3 new coaches on offense, Coach Blesh, offensive line, and Coach Plowin with the tight ends. And what do you see the difference with that group, and how smoothly did the offense adjust this spring?
Yeah, I thought they did a fantastic job in spring. I think one of the challenges that we kind of acknowledge and take on as coaches is how do you most efficiently prepare your team. And in this environment where you're going to have some new faces in winter and in summer, systematically, how do you implement offense, defense, and special teams? And I thought Coach Spav and the offensive staff did a fantastic job of getting those guys up to speed really quickly. And then it's about reps. You still got to practice. And so spring ball, obviously, we got 15 practices worth. And then, summertime, we get some time with them in the meeting room, spend some more time with the newcomers. But I think it was really a pleasure to see how quickly the guys were able to adapt and, learn the offense. And it doesn't mean it's basic. There's a lot to it, but I think it's friendly to those transfers and freshmen. I think that's key in this environment.
We go front row here on the left.
Kenneth Berry, Touchdowns and Tangents Network. Coach, for last year you talked about how COVID kind of wrecked the roster. You had to kind of figure things out guys left early to declare for the draft. Can you describe the character of the senior class and the guys that have stayed through all that adversity?
Yeah. We've had a number of, fifth and sixth year seniors, two of whom are here today. I mean, we got two guys who are, I'm going to be honest with you, they're older than about 15 people that work in our building. They're very mature. They're 6-year guys. They're both really good players. They're great leaders. They're going to have an opportunity to continue to play after college, but I think they see value in another year of playing college football and playing with this team and getting their degree or graduate degree from Cal. So, again, I don't want to speak for them, but those guys I know create, they're great for our team culture, and they set the example for some of these younger guys who have, come into our program and looking for some guidance from a player, and these guys do a really, really good job of that.
Coach, you have an update on Brett Johnson, and if he's healthy, what you felt from his presence among some of these new faces in the transfer portal that have got on your roster?
Yeah, so the defensive line in general, and Brett, of course, being at the forefront of that, we didn't go heavy into the portal with defensive line. Our portal at defensive line was the guys coming back from injury. And Brett Johnson is a really good football player. I mean, really good. He's missed 2 seasons back-to-back with injuries, which is, tough. And a lot of folks, and would be no judgment on them, but a lot of guys wouldn't probably come back from that. Brett is just a rare breed when it comes to physical, mental, emotional toughness. And so I don't suspect that he's going to be any different. I think he's poised for a big year. We're glad he's back, and, feeling that presence, not only, the players feel it, like they know he's a good player, but, I mean, just literally feeling his presence when he lines up on the center is noticeable, because the center has a really hard time doing anything against him. So we're glad to have him back, and I know the guys on the team are sure happy to have him playing in front of him, especially at that nose and 3 technique position.
I know there were a lot of Cal fans who were really excited when you guys landed Sam Jackson out of the portal. What have you seen from him, and where does he have an opportunity to grow and fit in?
Sam joined us in the winter. Sam's a dynamic athlete. I mean, he is a very, very athletic guy. And sometimes when you say the quarterback's athletic, well, they think, well, all he can do is run. That's not the case. Sam can throw the ball. He can spin it. He doesn't have a ton of experience, okay? And he's still a young player. So my goal is for him and all the quarterbacks. And there's some other guys in that room that we think have ability to be Pac-12 players as well, but to create these game-like situations, a lot of 11-on-11 football in spring, a ton of it. I mean, we put the ball down and played a lot. We're going to continue to do that in fall camp, and we need to see him, the other quarterbacks, and everybody else, continue to grow throughout the season. We don't want to hit game one and, kind of look in the mirror and say, well, that's who we are. We got to keep getting better every week, and I think Sam's a guy that could really do that.
Next question from the far back right.
Justin, Kevin Turner, Sun Devil Radio Network. During my era when I played, we competed against Joe Cap. We lost him this year. Anything special that you guys will be doing in your program to honor his legacy at Cal?
Yeah, well, Joe has such a story, and he's a beloved figure. There'll be some moments throughout the season that he'll be recognized. Obviously, somebody that is near and dear to the program and to the alumni at Cal. He's got right as we walk out of the locker room, we got a sign up there quoting Joe. And so we're sad to have lost him, but certainly he will be remembered forever for the Cal faithful, yeah.
Coach, unfortunately, you also lost your father this past offseason. How has your football family that you grew up with, right, as a Hall of Famer father and somebody who introduced you to the sport, how has it helped you go through that grief and get you to the place now where you can lead this team this fall?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I was fortunate to have a role model in the house with me. And, as I grew up, and it had nothing to do with him being a football player. And so anybody who's lost a role model or a parent, I can understand the pain and the sadness. And there's also just so much gratitude at the same time. And when you realize that you're going to miss somebody every day for the rest of your life, it kind of changes your life. But again, I have so much gratitude, and I know we've had players who have lost their parents and loved ones, And I know people out here have as well. My heart goes out to them. But again, I just have so much gratitude because I was able to get 46 years worth. And so I'm thankful for that.
You talk about family, and I'm looking at another guy who I know was very influential on your life and your career, Nick Aliotti, the other talent at the Pac-12 network, who you had a conversation with earlier this morning, from what I understand. I remember a story when he was telling me, because I asked him about what you were like as a player. He coached you at Oregon, and he said, well,
Did he say not very good?
well, he said you were very smart. So, I mean, great personality, I think was the other way he described you. When he decided to move you from safety to corner,
Yeah.
what was your reaction? Were you up for it? Were you?
I was wondering if the coaches were doing drugs. No, I love him. I mean, he coached me and our defensive coordinator, Peter Sermon. And, a big reason why I got into coaching, guys like Nick Aliotti, Bob Gregory, who's now across the bay at Stanford. But, the people that impact your life, and of course they're teaching you to play a game, but really they're teaching you how to be and how to compete and how to try to do things right. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's why we coach. And so I was fortunate, like I said before, I had great role model at home on how to be a humble, hardworking man. And then I have great role models in coaching. And so, again, all this stuff that we get to do, I mean, we're coaching football for a living. And it's hard and it's challenging, and we get judged on winning and losing, and that's what we sign up for. But at the end of the day, it's the relationships with, the players on the team and the coaches that, that's what's really all about.
Coach, you have been in the SEC. You have been in the Big Ten. You spent a large part of your career in the Pac-10 and Pac-12. What can you speak upon the difference or the style of play in the Pac-12 that makes it a unique or different or more challenging type of challenge for you as a coach?
Quarterback play, first and foremost. I think just even in the last 30 years, but when you look at, especially this year, the level of quarterback play and the offensive football, I mean, there's really, really good coaches. And I think we talked about this, the parity. When people say parity, well, they think, well, that means it's a lower level of competition. I mean, this is high-level parity that we're talking about. Really good players, teams that are coached very well, and it's just, in my experience, being in some other conferences, they're great conferences, and they all have strengths, but the offense, the quarterback play, the coaching is as good as I've ever been around.
You mentioned the relationships, and you talked about Peter Sermon, your defensive coordinator. Did you ever imagine in a million years, when you were there for the birth of his son, that you'd be bringing him to media day as his head coach many years later?
No, it really
Was that in
wasn't the
cards?
plan.
That
No,
wasn't
that
the
was
plan.
not the
Okay, that
plan
wasn't you guys
back in
talked
the
about?
day.
All
But
right.
I've known young Jackson, who's getting old now, known him as long as you can know a person, I guess. And, man, he's just done such a great job. And, somebody asked me earlier, the relationship, he's a player on the team, and I'm a coach on the team. And so that's no different than any other player and coach relationship. But, having known him a long time, it is pretty unique. It's pretty special. And, Peter is coaching the defense and Jackson, and Peter's a demanding guy. He's demanding of all the players on the defense, and I would say, if anything, Jackson probably gets it a little worse, maybe than others, but he's a heck of a young guy, and he's doing a great job for us, and we're glad to have him.
I want to stay on the defense for a minute. This back end, you bring in a couple transfers that were real impact players at their previous stops, specifically Patrick McMorris at San Diego State, and you've got some returning vets. Is this group back to what you set the standard at when you took the job?
Yeah, I think when, adding Noel and Patrick, there's a few other guys in there as well. I think competition at the DB position is as steep as it's been. I think that'll drive the performance upward. We have some returning players who played a lot for us, but adding these new guys is going to make it certainly more competitive. And we feel strong about that unit. We also know we're going to play some really good offenses. And, in order to play good defense, you got to limit the explosive plays. You got to get some one-on-one wins. And so we're going to, ask those guys to do that, and I think they can.
Before we let you go, the other player that you brought out with you is Matthew Cindric, a veteran offensive lineman. What does he bring to the team? How have you seen him evolve over his time in Berkeley?
Matthew, he's been with us a long time, and he's just such a smart, hardworking, all the intangibles that you're looking for, the leadership qualities. Very, very mature guy. I mean, very mature. And on top of it, he's a really good player. I mean, he's a really good football player, and he's got a ton of experience. And so being the glue to that unit up front, and also, you know, a leader of the offense and the team, really couldn't ask for more. And when he and Jackson both decided to come back for their 6 years, I mean, you know, those are two of the biggest recruits we could have, you know, gotten. And so just really thankful. I love the guy. I mean, he is everything that's good about college football, and excited for him in his 6th year.
When you got the word that he was going to have a summer camp called Golden Buddies, which where Cal players were hosting a bunch of really unique drills, fun drills for local children with or without disabilities in your stadium just a week ago. Curious your reaction on your summer break.
I mean, that's just the type of guy that he is. I mean, he does this not so they put it on social media, or not that, you know, not that we recommended he do it. Like, Matt did this because that's what he believes in. I mean, he is, again, a leader. He serves the community. He's an incredibly intelligent guy, but that's all him. You know, that's who he is and what he's about, and just couldn't be more proud of him and the other guys that took part.
Justin, we're excited to see your team on the field this year at North Texas, and then a huge home opener against Auburn. You are, by the way, 2-0 against SEC teams. I will end the interview with that. Thank you for your time. Go hang out with Nick Aliotti, because I think he's got some more questions for you, and we look forward to seeing your team.
I will. Go Bears. Thanks.